the most inconspicuous hat. If you wear that, it's like people are noticing you.
I don't have any fucking hats.
Oh,
What the hell?
Yeah, you kind of fucked up that. Oh, shit.
I got a taser.
All right, put that right up to the mic and then just fucking light up your mic. You'll see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cool.
Shit.
Okay, well, hold on. You don't have to be aggressive like that.
That's nuts.
God.
Got a light on it, too, to blind my attackers.
To know we're at Chicago PD.
Chicago PD? Oh, shit.
The Rocco one just goes off. I don't want to tell anybody.
The fact that you have such a wide angle shot really makes it.
This camera's really fucking wide angle. I didn't know it was going to be that much. This camera's like $120. I was researching it afterward.
All right.
It's fucking stupid.
I don't know if that's necessary.
100.
I think it is.
It puts the taser in context, at least.
Nice. Good.
Triplefour. Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason, and then he says Jim Norrison.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now.
You don't know shit, do you?
We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
you just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
You say midsummer?
Dude, how'd you get there?
I'm in Midsommar.
Smart.
Look, I set up a fucking booth in front of the dinner table. They're all standing up and watching, okay? Hello? Whatever.
A little worried about Josh.
Did you get a special drink, Josh?
Yeah. I went to Target, picked up a bottle of bleach, and a little bit later I'm gonna have a little party with it. So a little bit of it's a little bit of fiesta.
Well, I'm glad that you're at least 6 feet away from all those people.
Yeah, they're not social distancing, but you are. And
Yeah, they're dumb.
They're like shoulder to shoulder, pretty much.
They're not talking. They're not talking. I don't like that.
See, but the Midsommar people can really, deliver an important message. We're all in this together. They're all together next to each other. I've seen a lot of commercials on TV recently about, we're all dealing with it. We're all in this together, and that you should buy a Hyundai or go to Burger King because we're all in this together. And I think I just might.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Triplefour Podcast, episode 43. It's me, Dan.
And me?
Who else is here?
I choose to remain anonymous, but they call me Bob Evans, a.k.a. Big Bob Gravy, a.k.a. Cracker Barrel Jr., a.k.a. Wild Waffle Wilkins, a.k.a. Boba Fettuccine, a.k.a. Sigourney, Weaver of Baskets.
Are you reading these off a list?
Yeah.
You couldn't remember your own nicknames?
That's what they call me.
Yeah, but the way that you're enunciating the syntax, the way you're speaking, it sounds like you've got a list. Like you wrote all these down. You're trying to prove something, but sounds phony to me.
That's just things that people have called me.
And you wrote them down so you could impress us?
No.
I'll take your word for it.
I moved. I was done with all the fucking people. I moved to the Midsommar sets in Sweden. And so I'm fucking done. I'm out. I'm out of the country. I don't give a shit anymore.
The Midsommarians.
Yeah. with the Midsommarians. We're having a fun time. So, whatever.
They're doing an auction. A24 is doing an auction for some of the props from Midsommar.
Which ones?
A list of them, some things, some clothes, the axe thing, like you didn't die this time, so this is how it will really.
Oh, they got the mallet?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of want that now.
Yeah.
You can also buy props.
Auction is open.
You can also buy props from a superior film called The Lighthouse.
Yes, that is true.
A superior film? You're going to call that plagiarized piece of garbage a superior film?
Dan, why don't you auction off your props from
the space?
Would you auction off Jacob?
Yes.
No, we as a country we made that illegal a long time ago.
Well, it's okay because he's white.
Yeah. See, there you go. Problem solved.
Sigourney, or I forget some of your other names, but Sigourney is the one that stuck out to me. You seem to know a lot about the space for somebody I've never met before.
Well, I watch a lot of films.
Yeah? Do you ever watch any movies or just films?
I've heard of movies, but I try to stick to films.
Can you name some of your favorite films? Wait, hold on. Is this time for films?
I think it is.
Time for films. Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the time for films theme song. It's over.
It seems a little early for that, but
You're the one who started talking about film. Well, I guess Maddie and Josh are the ones who started talking about.
well, okay. Look, all right. You know
I
what?
just said I'm in the set.
Look,
I didn't say
Josh
anything.
started the whole fucking Midsommar bit, so
It was Nick the whole time.
Oh my God, it was Nick.
Wow. Who knew?
Whose dick was it?
hashtag.
See, that is the real question.
We never did get an answer from Ari Aster.
No, I'm really sad about that.
Well, it's time for films because here we are. It doesn't have to be at the end of the show. It's my show. I'll decide. We all watched film together last week.
That we did.
Hell yeah.
Virtual watch for a really great piece of cinema from New Zealand. Josh, give me a rundown of what we watched.
I'll be fucking real. I have no idea. I couldn't even process that entire film when I watched it. So a week later, I can't remember. I just know there was a fucking couch, but it wasn't a couch. It was a chair with buttons for eyes. People came and went. That's all I got. I literally, my mind's gone.
The film in question, Killer Sofa.
Which is ironic because it was not a sofa. It was indeed a chair.
It was a lazy boy at best.
A recliner, if you will.
Killer Sofa. The thing that's stuck with me since we watched it is that the characters were named Detective Gravy and Detective Grape.
I'm Inspector Bob Gravy, and this is my partner, Inspector Roseanne Grape.
Homicides. Homicides. Cool.
Yeah, Gravy and Grape.
It got Grape way
You
later on.
briefly said it, and then it didn't come up until the very last part of the film where she calls Gravy.
Yeah.
You never have grapes and gravy?
He answers the phone. He's like, "You've got gravy."
Grape? Is that you? It's me, Gravy.
It's me, Grape. I don't think Grape introduced herself until way at the end or maybe we just weren't paying enough attention, but there was like a text message. They were like texting each other and it said Detective Grape on it. I enjoyed that. Movie was weird because couldn't really tell how much of it was a joke and how much of it wasn't. I think it was mostly a joke.
I would assume so. I think that's a fair assumption.
I mean, you don't name two of your characters Grape and Gravy if it's if it's serious. Come on.
Well, the main storyline was that there was this recliner and it had two buttons on it that were like its eyes, and it was haunted and it was killing people and it was like slinking around the apartment, you know, like
missing people. Let's not forget the sexual aspect.
Oh yeah,
a woman fucks on it, or she gets fucked by the chair, or gets sensually rubbed
about the chair, and it was there was a lot of sexual energy around the chair.
At the beginning, there definitely was. Like, the chair was, like, crushing on the main girl.
Yeah.
Not enough for my taste. Like, I think they should have gone harder on the sexual element, you know?
Like, the chair is a sexual predator?
He wasn't a sexual predator. It was a pretty consensual sex scene where she was, like, in the chair, like, vibing.
Yeah.
And then, like, at some point, dude is, like, fucking the bed, pretending it's the chick, and then
he got like underwear, I think, and then he like wrapped it around or something.
Yeah, and then the chair comes in, and it's like, I'm coming in this.
Yeah, that was a great scene. I forgot about that.
The chair peeks in.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
He like lays out the bra and the underwear.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like he used a pillow or something, or like what was going on, but.
Now, that was non-consensual furniture relations.
Yeah, the bed did not appreciate that.
Yeah. So, trigger warning,
I'm just saying, I'm starting to remember now just certain parts of the film, but the film as a cohesive, like, piece, I just cannot fucking tell you.
Like, the lore behind it was basically just, like, there was a chick and these dudes wanted her. And she was like, nah.
Well, then there's like...
became the
the gay guy. There was the gay character. And he was introduced as, he's gay, right? And that was all we could, like, think about for the rest of the movie, about how aggressive, like, this girl's friend was about how her roommate was gay.
What was her boyfriend?
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
She was like, dude, he's gay. And she's like, no, he's just not obsessed with me like all my other boyfriends. And she was like, yeah, because he's gay. And she's like,
but the best friend was low-key definitely into her also.
Oh,
yeah.
They should have expanded on that a lot more, but...
Exactly. There should have been so much more sexual vibes in this killer couch movie. Overall, it was fun. It was pretty fun to watch.
Fun watch. It wasn't super long. I don't feel like it was too drawn out. Like, when they got into the lore of it, it was kind of like, I don't even care. I don't care what is happening. I just want to see it happen. But
I now remember the part where I think it was Gravy that looked in the telescope, and then they pulled up a picture of a house on a computer, and they scrolled up, and you can see the scroll up. As it cuts to it, I fucking died.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they run out on the street. Well, first of all, that guy falls in the trash can. And then when they run out on the street and the fucking chair is like peering over the fucking balcony.
Yeah. It's worth watching just for those shots of the chair looking menacingly, like, and creeping around. Those were great. Couldn't tell you what actually happened at the end, though. It's one of those.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think it was like there was a dude in the chair, and then they tried to kill the dude, but the chair like consumed, or the spirit was in her body, and then
there was an actual, like, a creepy guy,
physical dude.
Chair.
I don't know if there was a physical dude inside the chair the whole time, or if that just happened at the end.
Yeah, it happened near the end because then at the very last scene is the roommate comes in because she's like, something is weird here. Like, my friend is now, fucking Detective Gravy. What is going on? And she looks in like the eye of the chair and sees like her friend's soul like floating around.
Yeah.
So
well, the chair was haunted by the two spirits.
Yeah, but I think that implies that like it wasn't just like a dude in the chair.
Yeah.
A lot more going
That
on.
happened. It was the guy who broke in to beat off in the bed that was in the chair.
Yeah, because the chair like ate him after that, and then it was like, whatever.
Great movie. Check it out.
Really, really good writing. Really, really
yeah.
gripping.
Good vibes. May lose a couple brain cells. Good vibes overall.
Also, they all have the New Zealand accents, which are hilarious. And they're like, hey, your chair's possessed.
He keeps saying the recliner's possessed. I really don't know what's gotten into him.
And that was fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. We were saying that the whole movie was like, I don't mean to be a dickhead, but I think your chair might be possessed.
Yeah, that was a good time. It's still time for films. I watched like 20 movies again this week, but I want somebody else to go first.
I got 3. Art of Self-Defense. Great movie. I fucking loved it. That was also, I think, Dan, the first time I've heard you describe a movie as just weird.
Well,
which I didn't think it was that weird.
Like I said it to you, or in a message, or it was on Letterboxd.
Yeah. I messaged you and told you that I was gonna watch that, and you said, "Weird movie, good choice."
Yeah, I mean it is weird,
but I mean
the standard for what is weird. Once you've seen so many weird things, like I think in the case of that movie, because I'm like, who was this made for? What was the purpose of it? Like the tone is really odd, but it's really funny.
I love the tone of it. The humor is like so.
It's uncomfortable, but like in like a misanthropic way. Like it's like bad vibes.
I do like the whole. Well, I don't want to give. I'm not going to give spoilers, but the whole gun bit, like I can't really do it without giving spoilers, so I won't. I remember showing it. I did show it to a friend of mine, and he said that like 5 minutes into the movie, he's talking about Jesse Eisenberg's character. He says, "I don't like him." I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. He's not a likable character. That's the point of the fucking character. And then he went on to say that Jesse Eisenberg plays the same person in every movie.
That's almost
like,
true.
Oh, I thought at first I got a little defensive, but then I was like, almost.
See, I like it though. I really like him. He's a great actor for one, but also I like that character. I like the Jesse Eisenberg character because I relate to it, because he's kind of like, he's like a nerd. He's like an asshole nerd. I relate to that. So Jesse Eisenberg, keep it up.
He's not an asshole until he starts taking the class. Also, last note for Art of Self-Defense, Imogen Poots.
Yeah.
Bad as fuck. She bad. I like her a lot. She was also in Green Room. Here's one you're going to like, Dan. Dune. I watched Dune by David Lynch.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Friend of the podcast.
What was the... Oh, I got to pull up that Letterboxd review, but the fucking graphics, dude. Hell yeah.
Is it the graphics?
Is it the graphic? I guess I don't know if I can.
Lynch's Dune is fucking sick. It's like
costume design.
It is nuts.
Dude, the costume design is fucking bonkers.
the whole thing, like the whole production, it's
Well,
just
the set design and costume design and a bunch of that, and then
Sting is in it.
Sting is just there. Yeah. They don't really ever. They're just like Diedrich Frade.
There's a part where Sting like just walks out from like the other room and he's like steaming, like he just got out of the shower, and he's just wearing a Speedo that is shaped like wings. And somebody looks at him, and then he just kind of does this, and it's classic. It's good cinema.
His hair is off the chain in that movie. Also, there weren't any diners in Dune, so fuck you.
That's true. That's also David Lynch's least favorite of anything he's made. He disowns it. So
probably because there's no diners in it.
Exactly. No diners. No, I don't remember if there's any dreams. I think there are dreams.
Oh no, there's hella dreams in there.
But yeah, he regrets making that movie because he felt like he had no control over it, and it was so huge, and he spent like 3 years making it. So pretty nuts.
And then the last one, which I watched last night, is Escape from Pretoria with Daniel Radcliffe. It's a true story about two guys in South Africa that are leading a kind of a revolt against racism. They got arrested for planting bombs that basically they made these packages that have a bunch of flyers with information about liberation and planted them all over South Africa to like spread the knowledge to the people that all races should be equal, basically. But they get arrested and they go to a prison, and I mean, you know what's funny is I watched this on recommendation from my friend who said the thing about Jesse Eisenberg, and he told me, you have to watch this movie. It's an insane movie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you need to not take recommendations from Springerly. I feel like that doesn't need to be said.
And no, I knew this anyway. I was going to watch Mulholland Drive, but he's like, you have to watch this movie. I didn't.
Dude, I'm going to watch Mulholland Drive. No, you should watch The Croods instead.
Definitely not 10 out of 10. It was the same as any prison escape movie that I've ever seen. I mean, it's a good movie, super tense, definitely reminiscent of Shawshank, but 10 out of 10, not quite.
I want to check it out. I'll watch anything Daniel Radcliffe does, really. So,
those are my films.
So, I've been on a show kick.
Uh-oh.
I did watch Too Hot to Handle. It was bad, but I did enjoy myself.
I don't know what that is.
They take a bunch of like Instagram model kind of people, put them on an island and tell them they can't have sex. And it's supposed to teach them the value of getting to know someone first. So you could have.
There's a lot of those. Is this on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of these like reality sex shows that are popular now.
Yeah, it was entertaining. But I also watched Devs on Hulu.
I've been meaning to watch that one. Is that any good?
I think that's Alex Garland.
Yeah.
Made that also, which same guy did Ex Machina and Annihilation, which we talked about last week.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, like there are some bits of it that kind of feel like it's a show a little bit. And like the ending, there were probably like 5 different places that I would have chosen to end the series that were not chosen. But overall, it was still a good show. Like I felt like it was well written, and you know, it deals with like the interesting topic of like AI and like consciousness and the multiverse theory and whatnot. So, you know, it's interesting like content to think about, and like, so it was fun, good time, good bits.
Cried a little bit. There it is.
But otherwise, yeah, it was good. It was good. I liked it. And then as far as movies, I watched Kill Bill finally. It was really good. I don't really like action-y movies at all, really. They don't generally interest me. But like every part of those films was very like intentionally done. And so every fight scene was like, it was interesting and dynamic. And again, it was just all like very stylized and like, you know, there was intent behind everything. So I really enjoyed that. Then I also watched Reservoir Dogs, so also good.
Kill Bill 1 is awesome. Kill Bill 2, I think, is Tarantino's worst movie. Like, I think 2 is just boring.
I didn't think it was boring, but I watched them back to back. So honestly, it feels like it's all one thing in my head. I mean, I think that 2 focuses a little bit more on like explaining things. So I don't know if maybe that's why it didn't interest you as much. But I mean, I like how the story unfolds, where you're kind of like learning about things as they become relevant, as opposed to like, ah, yes, I know the backstory, and hey, now things are happening.
I think he intended it to be watched back to back like that.
Yeah.
So, but
it didn't feel long. Like, I don't actually know how long the movies are off the top of my head, but by the time I finished both of them, I was like, it feels like I've been sitting here for like maybe an hour. So
that's good.
Kept me interested. I was impressed.
Josh, did you watch anything?
No, I didn't actually. I just played a lot.
Damn. Can't believe he's on a film podcast and he hates films. He's Hollywood blood royalty.
He's on strike. Okay, well, I'll take fucking Josh's time since he's a loser and doesn't watch movies.
I work. I'm working. I am working.
I did want to take a second to talk about The Midnight Gospel, just because it was so good. Legitimately the best cartoon I have seen since Futurama. And oddly enough, there is a story about, I don't know if you know this, about Pendleton Ward, who created Adventure Time and also now The Midnight Gospel. But when Pendleton Ward was a kid, he was such a big fan of Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama. And his mom took him to Matt Groening's house to meet Matt Groening, and Matt Groening like took him under his wing and basically taught him everything he knew. But The Midnight Gospel, any of you guys watched it yet?
Yeah, I saw it.
I've had 2 people recommend me it, so I'm going to watch it this week for sure.
Okay. It's really, really compelling stuff, because I mean, it's in the form of a podcast. It's podcasts that were previously recorded by Duncan Trussell, who is a comedian, and he's the other creator of the show. And so it's his podcast, and then they did the animation over the podcasts, and some really, really just like soul-touching, deeply human, thought-provoking stuff. And the one that really got, I mean, there's a couple of like, they're all good, but the one that really got me and Springley literally sat on the couch sobbing next to each other, is the last episode is an episode of his podcast that he did with his mom. And it was 3 weeks before she passed. And she's just talking about all kinds of, meditation and not fearing death and passing into the next world. And it's just, man, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good. And like, when I described it to people, like, oh, you should watch this, or like, what's it about? I described it as like a podcast with slightly unrelated visuals. Like you could just listen to it and still feel very compelled, and then like the visual aspect of it just like makes it even more intriguing and interesting. And it's kind of like you've got two like storylines going at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the animation is very more so, I mean, the driving force of it is the podcast. The animation is more so complementary to it.
Yeah.
But what's so funny about the animation is that the whole time it's just so, because they're having this conversation, and in the animation it's just so nonchalant, like they're not paying attention to anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, they're just having this really deep conversation, and then like the whole fucking world is being overrun by zombies or exploding or crazy pirate island adventure, and they're just kind of walking around talking.
Yeah, I straight up thought you were drinking out of a mustard, like.
It did look really mustard-esque.
My favorite drink, mustard.
I was like, damn, he's going straight for mustard. All right.
I know it's a stag.
Some good mustard. Guess what?
Or is it a Hams?
Dan knows me well.
We all know, yeah, it's either it's a Hams or a stag. It's one of the two.
It's stag.
You didn't pop up when you were showing it, but it is stag, and I am correct. And
to represent. Also, shout out Bruiser Queen. That's my koozie there. The local Bruiser Queen.
Okay, so here's when you first recommended the show. My first thought, especially because you pitched it as being made by Pendleton Ward, who did Adventure Time, was that like I probably irrationally that does not interest me because I just don't care about like the stoner cartoon genre. Like I feel like Adventure Time and Regular Show and Pickle Rick Show and all those like kind of blend together for me. Like they're not inherently bad. Like even Rick and Morty, I'll go on record and say I don't think it's actually that bad of a show. It is really easy to make fun of though. So I will do that at every opportunity.
Only because of the fan base though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the show itself. It's just the fan base.
And I know.
It took the irony way too seriously.
Well, that and like the whole copy pasta of like, you actually need a high level of intelligence to understand, which is just, that's like the worst thing you could ever have from your fans. If I started making things and then people started posting stuff like, you need a high level of intelligence to understand the space, and then started like repeating a joke from my things over and over, like Pickle Rick, funniest shit I ever seen, I would just I would detach myself from that. I'd be like David Lynch with Dune. I'd be like, nope, I didn't make that actually. But so the podcast thing doesn't interest me because I don't know if you noticed, but I do a podcast.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
That's absolute news to me.
I think that
a crazy coincidence, actually.
Right. Well, I don't really tell people about it. But
it was also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But I think that the format that you've described, it seems like it's something that's really obvious but hasn't been done yet, which is like a long form animation of a podcast, because a lot of podcasts do. Put up the clips. Like if you follow Theo Vaughn or Your Mom's House or whatever, all those, they do like little, or Mega 64 has those too, the Mega 64 animations where they take clips from the podcast and they animate them. And I think it seems like a natural step to make a full length version of a podcast into an animated thing.
Yeah,
in the show, is it an entire podcast episode or is it edited?
No,
or
it's
what?
segments of the podcast. They're about 26 minutes per episode. And I don't know how he made that selection, but it is also interesting to hear Duncan Trussell. Yeah, I'll have an admission, a confession to make. I watched part of John Bogan Experience clip with Duncan Trussell where he's talking about the creation of the show and sitting down with Pendleton Ward and watching these various animators work on building that world around those clips from the podcast. And it's honestly, I personally have a huge appreciation. I grew up drawing and always loved cartoons, and big shout out, like the animation is, I'll send you the clip of Duncan talking about it, because he gets into this whole thing about how simplistic but complex at the same time that it is. Like the characters, you look at them and you're like, I could draw that. And then no,
where's your Pickle Rick show?
They're very like, there's just a lot going on visually. There are just a lot of things happening. And as far as your question goes, like, I'd say it's probably like 90% podcast stuff. It kind of varies from like episode to episode, because sometimes you get a little bit of a storyline or like things are happening, but it always kind of circles back to like, okay, a podcast.
In the animation or the audio?
The audio.
Yeah. And then
kind of like scene a little bit for you, and then it goes into podcasts. And some of them just kind of go straight into it. Like the first episode goes straight into.
Right. So basically in the show, it starts out with him, and he has his trailer on his home planet. And then he's got this, it's like a pod vagina thing that he sticks his head in. And then he goes to a different planet as a different avatar. And he's a different character in like every show. The character's name is Clancy, but he goes to these other worlds to find people to interview for his space cast.
Space cast?
Space cast. Yeah, because he's in space.
The space cast?
And the other thing, one of my favorite parts about it is he always has a new pair of shoes at the end of each episode. Any adventure that he goes on, he winds up with a pair of shoes.
Shoes show.
Shoe
I
Boy.
also didn't realize Shoe Boy. You've seen that?
There you go,
Uncle
Shoe
Grandpa.
I don't know.
What is the other one? There's another one that with the guy with the star on his shirt.
Oh, Steven Universe, I think.
Yeah.
This is a little reminiscent of Steven Universe as well, too. Yeah.
I didn't realize until I looked it up after looking up Pendleton Ward that Adventure Time had like 10 seasons and like 400 episodes or something.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's ridiculous. Once you get into like the second or third season, it's like 40 episodes per season.
Yeah,
that's insane.
They went off with that show.
It was like a huge like moneymaker. I mean, the Hot Topic selling the merch.
It was, regular show and Adventure Time were like the two hits Cartoon Network had.
Yeah.
Get hip, Dan.
I'll watch the show for the next episode, but that means Josh has to watch it too.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. You have to stop working and watch movies like the rest of us.
Yeah, I'll tell my boss
finally
that.
have some goddamn input.
I'll tell my mom. I'll tell my mom that too.
It's pretty easy to knock out in one sitting. I mean, it's 8 episodes and they're all under half an hour. So you're talking about
it was
4 hours.
Yeah, it won't be bad.
Which I watch 4 hours of The Office any given day, dude. I just sit down and
won't watch 3 movies, but I'll watch marathon all of The Office.
Anything else about Midnight Gospel?
It's great.
It's fucking great. Jurassic Park ride. I'll try a lightning round mine. And I'm not going to talk about all of them, but so I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Universe, full of spiders. There are a lot of spiders in here. That is the whole title.
Wow, that's a lot of spiders.
Jesus Christ, there are a lot of Spider-Men in this spider universe. Pretty good. It seemed like perfect Zoomer cinema. You know, like it was the ultimate Zoomer movie, Generation Z movie. Like every frame has like a Chance the Rapper poster in it, or like there's like they reference memes, and it's got all them like it's got a ton of references in it. Like the beginning with he parodies the Tobey Maguire walking down the street from Spider-Man 3 thing, or like all of this stuff. I imagine Nick has seen this movie, right?
I absolutely love it. Yeah, I think one of my favorites is how they drew Kingpin, where he's just like,
oh yeah,
fucking, it's just a giant box.
Yeah, Kingpin design was really cool. The animation overall is a spectacle. I mean, it's a really accomplished technical film. That movie has gotten such a reputation though, and I think it's because, like I said, it's a Gen Z movie. It is monoculture, like references and timelines and universes and everything all smashed together, and a ton of different aesthetics and styles and things. I think it's just perfectly calculated like that, but it's been given like a really high pedestal. And when I watched it, I was kind of like, good Spider-Man story, you know, like it was not a 10 out of 10 for me. I liked it. It was good, but so Spider-Man. Gilbert Grape. I watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which I had not seen.
What? Like ever?
Ever. See, this is what I'm trying. I'm trying to get rid of these kind of things. You know, like you haven't seen that. That's
Dude, I can't believe you haven't seen a movie.
Yeah, which is hilarious how often it happens to me, because people are like, dude, you haven't seen Step Up 2, The Streets? That's fucking classic. And I'm just like, no, I watched fucking Ivan's Childhood from 1962 on the Criterion Channel, because like there's like that sphere, you know, like there's the art movie, you haven't seen that thing, and then there's like the everybody stuff like Gilbert Grape. So
did you cry?
Who's Smoking? No.
Wow.
Good vibes though. Good vibes.
Good bits.
Good bits. Good vibes. Who's Smoking Gilbert's Vape? The clothes in that movie were awesome. Like the 90s like aesthetic, the way everybody looked, I liked, except for Johnny Depp's hair. There was a fucking problem for me with that. I don't know. It was just unbecoming. You know, it just didn't look good. He had Corona hair. Like, I think we're all starting to get Corona hair where we don't have haircuts, and that's why I'm wearing a hat. We're in hat season now. It's getting long.
I decided to stop shaving. This is like 2 days right here.
Great content.
Perfect.
My shit goes in blonde, so it looks dumb, but I'm in quarantine, so I don't give a fuck.
Anyway, Gilbert Grape, pretty good. Good Leo decap in that. Cut your hair, though. John Depp.
Jonathan Depp.
Jonathan.
Have you seen Benny and June?
Benny and June. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Johnny Depp?
Who has seen Benny and June?
Benny and June. Does that have Jonathan Depp?
Jonathan Depp, yes.
John Depp in there.
Is his hair fucked up?
So, no, his hair is great. In fact, I think it's probably the best he's ever looked in his life. And for the longest time, my mom and I had recorded when it came on TV, like we recorded a very small clip of it where he's like swinging back and forth in front of this window. It's a classic. You need to get in on this.
Okie doke.
Anyway.
I'll put it on the massive list of movies I have to watch so that I'm not publicly ostracized at every turn just because I haven't seen Gilbert Vape. I like the whole thing with the fat mom. I thought that was cool. Like, the movie had a very, typical small town guy trying to get out, can't do the kind of the last picture show type thing. But the fat mom added this whole element to it that made it so much weirder. And I like that. The Handmaiden I watched is a Korean movie directed by Park Chan-wook. Okay, that's good because I recommended it so that we could talk about it maybe. Park Chan-wook I think is how you pronounce it. It's the same guy who did Old Boy and some other important Korean films, but it's weird. Huh?
You ever see Old Boy?
Yeah, I saw Old Boy.
Did you see the American and the foreign version?
No, just the original, not the Spike Lee version.
Okay.
Just the original.
They're both good, but yeah, anyway. Sorry.
I wasn't really into Old Boy that much. Maybe I'll watch it again someday and like it more, but yeah, so he made a movie called The Handmaiden, and weird because it has so many similarities with Parasite. It has a lot of similarities with Parasite and kind of a little bit Portrait of a Lady on Fire in there.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because those are both movies that came out last year and distributed by the same company. And then you have Handmaiden back in like 2016, which at the beginning I was like, this is a lot like Parasite to like a weird extent. And then I realized it kind of went in a different direction. So, really well directed, like well shot, pretty movie, and like really well edited and paced and stuff. I feel like after a while, I kind of was like, there was too many twists after a while. That was my issue with it, though. Maddie, what did you think?
I could see that. Like, you get halfway, 3/4 of the way through, and you're like, okay, holy shit. I mean, I liked all the twists. I think it kept it like dynamic, but I don't know. I could see how maybe they spent a little too much time on each twist.
Well, there's like twists, and then they got untwisted, where it was like, there was like, oh, this thing was actually this the whole time, but actually, no, it was what you thought it was. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, but like as a general whole, like I do think it was a really good movie, and yeah, there was just a lot happening the whole time.
A lot of people have really been into the Asian cinema for a while, and I was always kind of not as I was kind of like hesitant, but man, those Koreans, they can direct a movie. I think if anybody's gonna, if you're looking for some good films, the Koreans are making some good ones. So also, because I pretty much finished with what I'm going to watch from the IMDb top 250 list. There's like 20 more left that I could watch, but they're mostly Bollywood movies, and I have like no interest in that because they're all 3 hours and musicals. So not very appealing.
Up your alley.
Yeah. But there were a bunch of children's films or animated films. Some of them, not necessarily children's films, but Up. I had not seen Up, and I watched Up with the old man and the balloons.
Still have never seen Up.
You ready for the cold-hearted review? Don't worry about it. You know everything already. Like, the bit with Up is everybody is always like, man, that first 20 minutes really gets to you. The rest of the movie ain't shit. It's just this old man with an annoying kid and an annoying bird and an annoying dog, and the old man's like, stop, you're messing up my balloon house, and then the dog's like, squirrel, and it's like, I could give a shit. The first 20 minutes, that's the only thing that anybody needs to know about the movie, and like the conclusion of that storyline at the end of the second act is moving for a moment, but then it goes back to like, whoa, crazy explorer dude and his dogs. So you heard it here first. Up. More like down. But actually the one I did genuinely like that was Coco. I don't know if anybody saw Coco, but
yeah, I did watch that one. That was a great one.
Coco was good.
I watched that a couple months ago, and I was pretty shook. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was.
It definitely has a Miyazaki touch to it. Like there is like this hidden world, and there's a lot of cultural mythology in it. Yeah. And I just like that everybody was a skeleton for most of the movie. Like there's a ton of skeletons. It was awesome. And the music is good. Yeah, that one was genuinely like, it's a very predictable movie. Like you can tell who the bad guy is, who the good guy is going to be, that whole thing. But it's a good one as far as these kids movies go. Last thing I want to mention was a movie called Sonatine, which is a Japanese movie by this guy Takeshi Kitano, who's a really famous Japanese actor, director, and he edits his own movies, which is kind of wild. But this is the same guy who wrote the movie Battle Royale. I don't know if you guys have seen Battle Royale, the Japanese movie that everybody compares the Hunger Games to. He's in that, and he wrote it. But Sonatine was super good. The vibes are super weird. There's that word again, weird. You got to watch out. Nick, you should check out this movie. It's about this guy who's a depressed Yakuza gangster. He's like aging, and he's like tired of being a gangster.
Okay, what's up with that?
And there's like a mild like mob movie plot to it, but then like midway through the movie they go to this beach house and they just kind of vibe for a while. They like play games on the beach and they're all gangsters, and it's got this dope like Japanese jazz soundtrack. So good weird vibes, and all the violence is really kind of brutal, so it's a perfect mix. And one other thing I did watch was the movie adaptation of For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Ernest Hemingway novel, which I also just finished. Not great, but it had Ingrid Bergman in it, and she was good. This is kind of a moment for literature.
A moment for literature. Master Lemonnion requests your presence in the foyer now.
Finished For Whom the Bell Tolls. It was good.
The end.
That's it.
No one else except Dan.
It put me through some existential vibes. There was a lot of like, I know we've talked about it before, but I didn't really know anything about the Spanish Civil War. And like this book is about like these guerrilla fighters in the woods, and they gotta blow up a bridge. And there's like all these accounts of like bullfighting and like the atrocities that took place at the beginning of the war, and like this like life and death struggle that these ordinary people went through. And it made me really think about like, what are we doing? We're just making a podcast. You know, there's been times when people are out here blowing up bridges. Just regular Nick Wandersee down the street had to like blow up a bridge. So however that floats your boat, however that makes you feel, that's kind of what I got from For Whom the Bell Tolls. And then I started.
I never told you about my bridge blowing operation.
Oh, like it's an operation. It's like something you do regularly.
Yeah, I just didn't want like a lot of people to know about it, you know, like. But now
they know.
Way to out him, Dan.
But anyway, Hemingway, kind of a good writer. Maybe you've heard of him. I want to read more of his stuff. I don't know what it is, but like everything I've chosen to read, I've really enjoyed. Like, which is weird because I like hate most movies I watch. Like I only talk about the ones that I think are interesting to talk about on the podcast, but I watch a lot of stuff and don't like it. So, whereas I think like books are more like a newer medium for me. And then, you know, like Nick, I know you started your Letterboxd account, and you know, you give 5 stars to everything.
Well, that's because I'm a nice person, okay? And I appreciate the amount of work that went into making a film.
He doesn't want any conflict in his reviews.
That was actually pretty funny when you told me about God damn it, what's his name? Thunder Road guy.
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings, when you told me about his letterbox, I went and looked at his letterbox, and he only has 20 diary entries, and everything is 5 stars.
Well, see, he's like a working professional, and if people find that he's talking shit on other movies, it's going to be a problem for him, I think.
Exactly. So you should learn from that model, Dan.
See, no. I'm going to keep it real. Up sucked, and Pixar can suck it. I'm not going to make a Pixar movie. Too bad.
Imagine someone walking out of the theater after watching Up and saying, Up sucked.
Yo, Up straight up sucked. I'm very, very meticulous about the way that I try to form opinions on things and the way I write about them and the way I like rate them. You know, Letterboxd like changed my fucking brain chemistry for better or worse.
Cool.
Josh, do you know if there's any questions that need to be answered?
Yes, there is. On questions that have plagued mankind.
Who am I? Where do I belong? Where is the path? Questions that have plagued mankind.
I got it's a little bit of it's a little weird one because it's misspelled one of the words, but you'll get the point when you listen to the question. So this one is from Donald Dump.
Great already.
And they said, McDonald's didn't put the mac sauce on my Big Mac. Can I do them? That's how it's written out.
Do them like D-O or D-U-E?
D-U-E.
Oh. I was going to say if it was D-O, my answer was going to be yes, but now I got to think about it.
Yeah. See? So
I think a do is appropriate. It's an appropriate reaction.
Mm-hmm. See, is it going to be kind of like a library do, like where you just kind of slip them a note and saying, hey, you really botched this fucking Big Mac up. Can you please just help a brother out?
Fucking mac sauce.
Mickey D's needs to pay their dues.
Give me the mac sauce or Ronald gets it.
I'm going to do Ronald if you don't fucking hand over the sauce.
If you don't give me that fucking mac sauce, Ronald's getting dude up.
I mean, did he duel? Is that the consensus? Because I got that maybe he misspelled it and meant like, can I duel them?
No, I think he meant sue.
Okay, that's fair too.
No, I like duel though. I like where your head's at.
I kind of imagine he wrote this in his car in the parking lot of the McDonald's.
He's like driving off and like.
He checked the Big Mac. I don't know why he would even check it in the first place. I mean, he would assume it'd be in there.
Check your food.
He might have taken a bite out of it. He's like, oh, they fucking didn't put the sauce.
And then you catch him walking into a Mickey D's with a sword.
No, with what's the Yu-Gi-Oh, the arm, the
dual
deck,
disc?
The dual disc.
Dual disc.
You just drive up to the drive-thru with a dual disc.
No, he goes into the lobby with an Uzi and straight things.
Imagine Donald Dump, but with a dual disc.
It's me, Donald Dump.
You forgot the mac sauce.
Prepare to duel.
All right.
I place one card in face down defense position.
But I have a second card in the attack position. So I have another question. This one is from Anonymous, and they said, is it wrong to get nudes from a female friend by pretending you are going to die soon?
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there.
So,
I mean,
let's hear the men's take on this first.
Yeah, it's good. All right.
Go for it. Live
Go
your
for it, dude.
dreams.
Fuck it, whatever.
Dan?
We're all gonna die soon anyway.
This is
COVID's
funny.
out.
This is funny because I am actually gonna die soon.
Oh,
wow.
guys,
Can I have the podcast?
If any women out there have any feelings about that whatsoever,
the line's open.
the lines are open. I want to. Okay, what is the verbiage of the message? That's the question. You know, like, hey, Ashley, you know, look, I was recently diagnosed with the Rona, and look, real weak moment for me here. Simp hours are real.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Look, I've been thinking about taking you on the Bang bus for a little while now, and you know,
I have AIDS. Get naked.
I have aid.
I have AIDS.
I have aid. Dude, like you're just
Show me
receiving aid.
naked.
In some circles, it's known to be a holistic healing treatment to, you know, gaze upon the woman's visage, in its purest form. So if that strikes any inspiration for you,
send Bob and Vagine. You have 24 hours.
You go that route, okay? Yeah.
See, this is fine. If he wants to pull the "I'm dying" card, that's fine. But he's got to pay her. Got to pay up, man.
He's dying. He's not going to use the money.
Yeah. What do you need all your savings for if you're going to die? Pay extra. That's the time to pay extra for nudes.
True simp hours now.
Yeah.
Simp City.
Maybe that person will hear this podcast and all of a sudden I'll get a message during simp hours saying, you know, Maddie, I'm actually going to die soon. I'm willing to offer you more than $70 this time.
You know, if he's such a simp, you'd think he would be paying attention to your work, you know, that you're participating.
I share it everywhere, and he messages me everywhere. So,
real weak moment here, but I have aid.
I have aid. Singular. No, nothing else. It's not even. It's not plural.
Aid.
It's somewhere on my body. It might do something later. We don't know. All I know is something I want from you. Maybe
you can get it right now. You have your phone. Real weak moment here.
All right, so I got one last question. It's a quick one, easy. And the question is by a person named Yo. Just Yo.
Yo.
Earth sucks? Question mark?
Yes.
Earth sucks? We all know. Yeah. See,
It's not in its prime.
When was Earth's prime? Let's be real here.
Before us.
When the meteor hit and fucking nuked everything?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So which planet is the best in our solar system? If Earth sucks ass, what is the best planet?
Venus is cool.
Jupiter is pretty big.
I was going to say
cool stuff there.
Yeah. I was feeling a Jupiter vibe, but I'm actually going to go Neptune.
Because it's blue?
Because it's blue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Saturn's all right, you know.
Saturn's a ring.
Saturn is so overrated.
The sounds of Saturn. Rings of Saturn.
The Rings of Saturn. Yeah. It's like Maddie's favorite band of all time.
Rings of Jupiter. Train.
Does the sun count? I like the sun.
Not a planet.
No.
Damn.
Jesus.
Well, that's inclusive. Earth sucks. Other planets better. Earth got to pick it up. You're losing here.
Pick up the pace.
What are you fucking doing?
Stop burning.
Stop sitting on your ass. Golly.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna be on Earth anymore.
I heard Mercury is nice this time of year.
I mean, we're already planning a trip to Mars. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Well,
that's the end of this podcast. Catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening.
You get to listen to Dan fart in his bathroom for a good minute. So.
Josh, you've been in Midsummer for like a really long time.
Yeah, they've been standing back there for a really long time. It's kind of nuts.
Pretty impressive how still they've stayed.
Yeah, they're not people really, so I mean that's kind of why they do that.
Well,
I mean the problem is though I don't see the giant mallet anywhere, and I really was looking for it.
It's being auctioned, so that's why.
Well, I mean I could steal it. I'm here. Yeah, I said Missouri. More like misery. Am I right? Anyway, I booked the first plane ticket out of there. Only 2 seats were filled, and the person sat right next to me, so that was cool. Yeah, he ate like this meatloaf that smelled like death. The whole plane ride was just meatloaf smelling, and
Maddie, what are you eating?
Wheat thins.
Wheat nuts?
Wheat thins?
Corn nuts?
Okay, the finishing mallet is going for $7,000 right now.
Oh, I can eat that. Yeah, I can fucking eat that
you
for
got
sure.
15 days, 17 hours, and 32 minutes.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I saw the Hereditary though. I did check on that, and it was like $4,000 for like the placemat or some shit. At some point, I was like, why am I even looking at this?
Dude, the
how much is the light?
$1,000.
How much is the light from the lighthouse?
It's probably gonna be like fucking $50,000 second day for sure. Like it's cool, but like, do they think people have money except for the ones that do?
Yeah.
Disregarding them, of course.
Give me the gull. I want the gull.
Yeah, the doormat, the heirloom doormat from Hereditary is $7,000 right now.
Oh shit! Who's this?
Yeah, who the hell is this?
Name's Thomas Burgerstand.
You just evaded Dan's home, and we're just kind of cool with that.
Yeah, did you see Dan?
No,
he let it you in, or?
No, you're confused. This is a pirate signal.
Oh.
I'm a Zoom troll. I think that's what that's called.
How'd you get Dan's background?
It's a virtual background that, how Zoom, you can have like a virtual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no idea what you're talking about.
Here, I'll change it.
Oh, he flipped it. Oh, wow. He's vertical now.
Hold on.
Thomas Hamburger or whatever.
Hold on.
Is 90 degrees.
Burgerstand.
Oh, okay. Whatever. He's really going at it, and he's really just trying to figure this out. Thomas Hamburger's really having a tough time here.
This is Thomas Burgerstand, I think, should just host from now on.
Yeah, let's boycott Dan.
Yeah. But yeah, he left his house, so I mean, because clearly
he let himself get virtually hacked.
Yeah, that's true.
Go to the Triplefour Instagram, the Triplefour Facebook, and hashtag boycott Dan.
He's just outside now.
Yeah, I'm outside.
He literally got a virtual background of a house on Zillow, and
that is my house.
Oh, okay.
How's the weather where you are?
This morning it was there was like small droplets of water. They came from the sky for
That's how that works.
16, 17 minutes.
Okay.
I had to get down to work really quickly before it flooded.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Thomas Burgerstand, where do you work?
I own a restaurant.
Is it a burger stand?
No.
That was pretty presumptuous, Nick.
Yeah. You gotta fucking straighten up, guy. I run a taco cantina. Tom's Tacos.
Tom's Tacos.
How'd you get into that?
Well, my father was into it. He had a cart that sold these. We call them tacos. They're like meat patties between two buns, lettuce, tomato.
Oh,
ketchup.
sandwich. It's like a sandwich.
Kind of.
I'm pretty sure you said it was a taco, Josh.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a taco.
like a sandwich in a way.
Well, this has like seasoning on it. Tom's famous seasoning.
Beans in there too?
Okay.
No beans.
Oh, that's a shame.
This is. I work hard.
I'm saying we didn't invite you to this podcast, so.
Yeah. I was just kind of bored. And I wanted to talk to some human beings because I have been in lockdown for 6 months.
I thought you worked at a taco stand.
Yeah. So
business is not well. I need stimulus. Business is bad at the taco stand.
Maybe if you had beans.
People have said that before. Maybe you get some beans. People might actually come and eat at this piece of shit place, but it's against what I believe in. It's what my father, Thomas Burgerstand Sr., taught me about owning a taco restaurant.
So it seems like a you problem.
Why you gotta throw stones? I thought this is a positive vibe kind of platform.
That was last week.
Listen, Hamburger, you came into this podcast, and
you're playing by our rules.
Yeah, now you kind of just destroyed the posy vibes a little bit.
I did nothing wrong.
You should count your lucky stars, because if you look back at the history, most guests have not made it this long.
I didn't even make it. I fucking died.
Yeah.
Dan's a host.
Yeah.
Not even a guest.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't listen to your dumb podcast. I just came in to have a good time and share some feelings about some things, and
Maybe if you had beans, this would be better. I don't know.
I think it's all centered around the fact that you have no beans. I think this is the main issue here.
And it seems like it's a recurring issue in your life. So maybe you should think about that and start evaluating things.
Yeah.
You think my beanlessness has something to do with my lack of friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Tell your dad, Mr. Hamburger, to get the beans. Just do that.
You've taught me a valuable lesson here today.
You're welcome. They don't call me the bean master for nothing.
Do they call you that, really? Do you have a list of things people call you? Are you going to read it off and try to impress me?
Yeah. It's the Bean Master and Trail Master Maddie and Zones. That's it. Only 3, but they're pretty profound. So I've garnered a lot of respect for myself over these years.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll consider the beans. I'll consider the beans.
Just,
All right, sleep on it.
Just get the beans. Just on it. Come on. I don't think it's considered by the. It's come on. Just get the beans.
It's a pretty clear choice.
Let's get the beans.
If you got to sleep on it and make you feel like you're making your own decision, that's fine. But
sleep on the beans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pour all about 5 cans of beans on your bed.
And then you want to make sure that you take your pillowcase and fill that with beans and use that as a pillow.
Yeah.
Too. So that'll help.
Yeah, I want you to swim in beans when you're sleeping.
Take a bath in beans if you want to.
Now that yeah.
Added bonus.
I never considered a bean bath.
Yeah. Change your life, man.
All right. Well, it's been lukewarm talking to you. I mean, I can't say it's been good talking to you, but I'll try this beans thing.
Yeah.
Well, keep using an attitude like that, I won't. But all right, later. I'm back.
That was one of them.
You were in the bathroom for such a long time that a man named Thomas Hamburger just showed up and tried to take over the pod.
Yeah, but he didn't even have beans.
Yeah, he didn't.
The Zoom invader?
No bean experience.
Yeah.
I've heard about this.
Well,
it's nuts.
He came here. Said he's going to consider the beans.
Which, I mean...
But, I'll tell you something. He seemed a little sexist by commenting on my attitude, so...
Well, it's been a wonderful episode. A
lot of twists.
Lots of twists. Not unlike The Handmaiden. But, good job, everybody. Good job, listeners, for listening. / watchers. Maybe you're a watcher.
Good job for the people back here. They didn't...
voyeur?
Didn't interrupt me once. No.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. I picked a good spot. I'm going to
the
stay here.
Mid-Samarian. Good for them. Well, this has been the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.